The movie A Dog's Purpose is accused of animal cruelty after, oh my gosh, some very disturbing footage has emerged. TMZ broke the story. I should warn you, it's really heart-wrenching to watch.
Don't worry, it's warm water at least. Well, he ain't gonna calm down until he goes in the water. Just gotta throw him in. Oh, oh, here he goes. Oh no. Okay, you get his feet wet. He learns it's not cold. Look, he wants to go in. Oh, he wants to get away. Just throw him in. Oh, here it goes. Oh, he's gonna end up going in with him. Here, boy. Oh, no.
Fuck you. Like, it's the first time I watched it all the way through because it was too hard to watch earlier, and it's like, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, that dog has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know it's for a movie. He sees like super turbulent water that I guess they had a number of 8 outboard motors to churn the water. And it has no idea what the hell is going on. It's clearly clawing to get out, scared, and then it's fully submerged under the water, and they have to cut the cameras to go rescue the dog. So upsetting. The director was there, because sometimes they have like second unit directors, and not to say that this would make it any less of a horrific experience, but to have the person who's helming the movie be there and be present and advocate for this to happen. Like, okay, keep going, keep going.
He did, I must update that he did tweet out that he wasn't there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay,
he did. And he said that him and Josh Gad, who was one of the main voiceover actors in the movie, said that they were shocked and horrified by, videos that leaked.
Thank you for sharing that, because according to TMZ, it says that Lasse Hallström was present the whole time.
Yeah.
So perhaps he wasn't. According to Josh Gad, I actually have Josh Gad's, his response on social media, so I'll read that. Also, Amblin Partners and Universal Pictures have seen the video. They told TMZ, quote, fostering a safe environment and ensuring the ethical treatment of our animal actors was of the utmost importance of those involved in making this film, and we will look into the circumstances surrounding the video. Also, the studio has their own independent investigation. But according to the Associated Press, American Humane, which is an organization that ensures animal safety on moving television sets, they said that it has hired an independent investigator to look into the incident, and they suspended the safety representative that worked on that film, thank goodness. Now, there's also been a lot of people on social media and a number of different animal organizations that are asking to boycott this film. And then finally, Josh Gad, who provided the dog's voice in the movie, he released a statement on social media, and he said, quote, first, he said, I want Universal Pictures to explain these disturbing images. He goes on to say that the movie is one of the most beautiful love letters to animals I've ever seen, but I'm shaken and sad to see any animal put in a situation against its will. Again, let's underscore that, against its will.
In the end of the day, do any animals that act in movies, regardless of what the main message of the movie is, actually do it because they want to do it? Or are they trained specifically to obey commands? Now, this is a deeper and more nuanced argument, but in the end of the day, like, dog actors actually like doing it technically because dogs need a purpose, ironically. That's the name of the fucking movie, but dogs do need to be trained, and they need to have a job. Otherwise, they go crazy. They get bored. Like, that's why people will usually, even if they don't need to, they'll train their dogs as service animals just to make sure that they have something to do every day. This is a fact. Dogs need to have a purpose. They need to do something. Otherwise, they can even have aggressive tendencies. And I'm saying this for obviously like for the larger community of animal actors. I don't know if it's the same for other animals, but I know this is for a dog.
No, you're right. They even say like when you hike a dog, sometimes a dog might want to pack on itself to feel like it has a purpose. However, the question is, what are the regulations? I don't know the current regulations. Like, what are the work days? Are they 16 hours? And at what point is the dog going to express when it's exhausted? Because I know too that there's been stories where you could just be on the beach, just you and your dog, throwing a ball to your dog in the ocean, and the dog, there's been cases where the dog will go out, catch a ball, come back, fetch the ball, come back, and be so exhausted it will pass out or it'll die. Like, they're gonna continue to obey your command. So I am worried that there's not enough regulation, or the regulations aren't staunch enough where it's protecting those animals, whether the animal likes it or not, I don't know, but whether the animal likes it or not, how are they being protected so that there are stipulations and regulations around the animal to ensure its safety? Because clearly this is horrific. This video right now, I don't know how many times videos like this or incidents have occurred on sets. Let's think about all the horses, like in war movies, how they're, they get like thrown down, or they're trained to like make it look like they're thrown down.
Well, now that's why they do CGI mostly, because it's so difficult and also inhumane as far as like the treatment of animals.
There was a TV show on Showtime or HBO where one of the horses was so exhausted it died. Was it Luck? And then if you go to the Gentle Barn is a great organization in Santa Clarita. They have a lot of those retired horses that were, entertainment horses. Famous horses. And it's hard to interact with some of them because they're so broken. Because over the time, you don't see everything, is my point. And I think we need to be more ethical when it comes to the treatment of animals. I'm not okay with this. I won't see the movie.
And a big part of being ethical is when we're talking about regulations, it's about regulating the behavior of the humans. Because the dogs, like you said, will follow the command until they are exhausted. They don't know any better. But
or until they feel like their life is in danger.
But as humans,
But
as humans, we need to be able to know better, and we need to be able to treat these animals ethically. And there do need to be regulations put in place. And also, Hasan, like you brought up, dogs are highly intelligent animals. And so for this dog was indicating in no uncertain terms that it did not feel safe, and that it did not want to go in there, and that it felt that its life was in danger if it were to be put in there. And it obviously wasn't up to the task. It knew it was acting in its own self-interest to preserve itself. And all these humans that should know better weren't listening to the dogs clearly indicating through body language, because we always say, oh, well, dogs can't speak, animals can't speak. They can speak, they just don't use words. They have, I know people are gonna be like, no, animals can't speak, but listen, look at body language. Look at the body language of, cows before they're being slaughtered and pigs before they're being slaughtered. They can communicate with us. Maybe they can't speak exactly, but they can communicate with us. And the humans were not listening to this dog that was saying, I don't feel safe. I'm not ready for this. And it wasn't ready for this because we saw what happened at the end of the video. Now, there is a way to train dogs to do stunts like this in movies that we've seen in an ethical way, and it might take a little bit longer. It might cost a little bit more of the film's budget to, show, okay, this is where you're going to be acting. I don't know what they did, but it seems like they really literally threw this dog in, and it was over its head. It wasn't able to do this. But what I'm saying is that there would have been a way, if they'd taken the time to train this movie actor dog. I don't know if this was its first film, but let's say it's not, to do this sort of stunt.
I'm sure it's not. It was
right,
the
to
most
do this
pivotal,
sort of stunt
it was a pivotal
in a
scene
way.
in the movie. Like, I'm sure it's a very well-trained dog. It's a German Shepherd. German Shepherds are like more intelligent dogs in general. Look, not like to play the devil's advocate for a second though. Like, that's the way my dog reacts when I want to shower him as well. Like, he fights for his life, basically.
But your dog isn't a trained professional. This is a trained professional.
No, I understand. But in the end of the day, like, the dog might have been terrified. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not condoning this behavior, but I'm also not saying this is the worst thing that happens in these sort of movies or has happened in the history of animal rights.
Yeah, but I hate that argument. I'm sorry. Like, I get what you're saying, but I hate the argument of like just bringing up, well, I'm sure worse things have happened, or look what's happening to all the cows being slaughtered. Believe me, I agree. I agree with all of that. But let's take a look at this incident, because this is the incident that's in front of our faces. So let's talk about how this is not okay. there's a ton of other incidents, believe me, like the horse from Luck that died. And I'm sure there's a whole slew of other incidents where animals have been perhaps in far worse situations than this. But we're talking about this one. And I really hope that both the investigations, whether it's from the studio, if the studio, I don't buy that the studio was unaware. There's always some sort of a rep from the studio that's
Especially
there.
if the largest, it's the most important scene.
I don't buy that the studio is now investigating it. But as far as the outside organization, American Humane, I believe was the name of it, they've already suspended the person that was working on the movie that was in charge of the animal welfare, and they are investigating it. And I hope that there's some outside prosecution brought involved, because it's not okay, and we need to have a new precedent. We need to have a new precedent.
All I'm
the
saying
voice
is
of
don't
the guy
be shocked.
filming, the voice of the
I
guy
know.
filming being like, oh, you just gotta throw him in there, like, oh, little guy. Like that's what's so alarming, is that it was a room full of people, it was a set full of people, and not one person stepped up and said, hey, just give him a minute. Like, maybe he was trained for the scene. Maybe he'd done it before, they'd done a take previously, and they need to do another take. Give him a fucking minute.
Right.
No one stepped up to be like, we can't do this right now. He's not ready. He's not calm. It was instead all these people were like, oh, just toss him in there. Like, oh, come on, guy. Like,
we also
once
don't
he
know how
knows
many
the
takes
water
it
is
took.
warm.
But granted, we don't know how many takes it took either. Like, we don't know how many he might have had takes after that one where he just completely calmly did his duties. So what I was going to say actually is that the reason why there wasn't any backlash before, or the reason why this person wasn't suspended before the media outrage, could possibly be because the supervisor that was there genuinely was following protocol. The dog was scared in that instance, but then totally performed his duties afterwards. We're speculating.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is public outcry will dictate whether or not this person loses their job, right? And in that instance, yes, absolutely, it looks like the dog didn't want to be in the water at all. The dog was trying to save his life, essentially. Like, it was behaving in a way where he was indicating that he definitely did not want to be there. I totally get that. But like I said, we don't know if the dog then went on to fully perform his task.
I don't care what happened after the fact, because I see in that moment that the handler literally threw the dog in when the dog did not want to do that. So that alone is enough for me, and I think there needs to be more protocols, more regulations, and people need to come from a place of empathy. To echo your sentiment, everybody on that set who are either chuckling or maybe they were just scared to speak out, and I get it because you're trying to preserve your job, but for the people that were chuckling or saying just throw them in, please look at yourself in the mirror and have some empathy training. This is not okay, and I won't be seeing the movie. I know you don't want to see the movie anymore either, so please share your thoughts in the comment section below. We want to hear all different angles, exactly how you feel, and we'll see you next time on Pop Sugar.